And boom, according to that, I am live. Welcome. My name is Hiko Simon. This is Tokyo Tonight. I've just realized I've got to add in, actually, I've got to change a few settings here. Let me do this very quickly. Share screen, share window, share that. And let's also change the branding to the right show. Boom. Tokyo Tonight. Welcome. It's 9:30 p.m. Japan Standard Time, 1 hour earlier than usual. The reason for this is, and the reason that I'm doing this, is that Victor and I actually sort of agreed today that we are going to do a 2.5 Oyajis from 10 o'clock on Victor's channel. So in the video information beneath this video, you should be able to see the link to the show, which starts in 30 minutes. So I thought this is a good way to let you all know where to go, as I'll be talking with Victor, both about news, but also Victor's road rage incident. I don't know if you saw that on his channel. Sort of interesting that he had that happen. And this and that. It should just be a good fun time, and we haven't done a 2.5 Oyajis for a while. So yeah, heads up on that. Nice to see so many people. And so basically, I've got to do the whole Tokyo Tonight, the whole week's news in 30 minutes. But I kind of want to see if I can do that, just pure rapid fire. I think I can do it if I don't get too distracted. Let's see who's here. We've got DJ Sunny Side Up, who after I did the mashup last night, I did a 2-hour set of just new music that I'd bought. DJ Sunny Side Up went and got an idea for probably one of the best mashups I had on the set, involving, I think it was a Funky called Medina. He went and mixed it with Fine Young Cannibals and did a fantastic mashup of his own on his own channel after. So yeah, great job. Go check that out. We've got Yoni from Summer Sonic in Tokyo at the moment. Our man from Finland, Moi, good to have you in here. Seb, great to have you in here in the house. Apologies to people coming in from America, of course. I realize it's already early in the morning, even at the normal time. This is earlier, so some of you may be missing this, but I'm just saying, I'm here to say I'm just going to quickly fly through the topics, and then we're all going to go to 2.5 Oyajis, which starts in half an hour. I will be back at 11 o'clock, by the way. I'll be doing the regular DJ set with your requests. By the way, I really liked the setup last night. I think that's what I'm going to do. It's a little bit awkward. I've got like an elevated table, and I've got to raise up the camera and stuff. I've actually got the decks and everything, and the iPad tilting away from me towards you so that you can see when I'm playing. But it's just enough that I can still do it fairly comfortably and you can see. So yeah, I like that setup. I think that's what I'm going to stick with. Dan H. Will I get my wish of Taro Kono becoming PM? We'll get to that, but the answer is probably no, but we never know. Lara, great to see you. If Hiko's Oji and Miss Hiko's Oba, or I don't understand what that means, but there we go. Sadiq, great to have you in here. And yes, indeed. Everybody saying hello to each other. Nice to see. Aaron, you made it. Wow. I'm sorry to wake you up early again. It's mainly the 2.5 Oyajis. Given that the greetings normally take 20 minutes, yeah, I don't know how we're going to go getting this done in half an hour. Black Tengu, good to have you in from hot and sweaty Athens. You know what? Tokyo is also hot and sweaty. It's like humid 35 today, but I suspect it's probably worse in Athens. What's the damage there? I'm curious. What is the temperature today? Tokyo is definitely in the do not come to Japan thing. I don't actually need this to 2.5 Oyaji start, so I'm going to take that out. Boy from the beach stage. Wow, Summer Sonic. Nice to see. Sadiq also, actually normally in Florida, but right now he's still in Turkey. That would also be hot, I imagine. But yes, indeed, hoping everyone's enjoying their holidays. Believe in yourself. Nice to have you in from Canada. We've got Odie Jr., bada bing, bada boom. Have a very good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Great to have you, Odie Jr. And all of that. So let's go rapid fire through the topics. Can I do this in half an hour? I believe I can. There's a Asahi article that's paywall that I can't see, but with all the candidates, I guess we're doing this in reverse order, so you'll see the candidates later on. But generally speaking, they did it how left wing or right wing you are. Takaichi, a female candidate who I think is one of the front runners, she was sort of Abe's pick to become prime minister instead of Kishida after him, although of course he was dead at the time. She's a front runner. She's very conservative. In fact, I used to think she was a drooling maniac, actually, like wants to go and start bombing other countries, kind of. She's moderated a lot, but there again, it's hard to imagine how she could have become more right-wing. But yeah, she's sort of has the inside running within the LDP. She's one of the favorites. Kobayashi, he's a new guy, quite young within the LDP, 49 years old, young as the LDP goes, and he's quite popular, but also quite conservative. Whereas Seiko Noda, another woman candidate. There are 3 women candidates at the moment. Again, they've all got to get this. This is not a popular vote. Basically, members of the party get like half of the vote, and some other. I think it's not even half. It's like 30% of the vote is from rural registered LDP members. So it's pretty much a closed thing how this will get decided. But Kono is one of the more liberal in the LDP, which is kind of consistent. Can we have a ghost of Abe run? Yes. Also, do remember to leave a like. I'll leave that one up on the screen. Thank you, Aaron, as always. There's a person, Yonaguni, is like, I don't know if it's the most southern. It's definitely not. No, it's not the most southern island, but it's the closest island actually to Taiwan, not the Senkaku Islands. Yonaguni itself, it has its own different, not only a dialect, it's practically a different language, and its own like writing system. It's completely different to Japanese and Chinese. It's like an archaic sort of island language that they've got. I actually know a guy who is a foreign guy who studied and actually is an expert, one of the only Western experts in Yonaguni language. Anyway, Mexican tourists went down there, meant to be beautiful down there, went canoeing, as you do. However, he drifted off course and ended up in the Senkaku Islands, the islands that are disputed between Japan and China. He was picked up by the Japanese Coast Guard, technically an act of sovereignty, actually picking anyone up. Japan prohibits anyone from going to the Senkaku Islands precisely because it's antagonistic towards China for Japan to be routinely doing acts of sovereignty down there. And they don't want to make things worse. Also, China sends patrol boats down there to do for sort of the same purpose, all the time. So the Japanese internet kind of commenting that they're glad that it wasn't the Chinese Coast Guard that picked him up. But there we go. Like these are tiny rocks. These are not even officially islands. So if you drifted into the Pacific Ocean from Yonaguni and you hit one of these tiny rocks, like, I don't know, probably hundreds of kilometers away, he got pretty lucky, he or she. Actually, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, but that Mexican person, wow, did very well. This evening, I've been rapidly double speed listening to my YouTube backup list. I'm down to like 11 unwatched videos, but they're all like Diary of a CEO, super long sort of podcast type content, so I'm probably never going to catch these up. What have I got? I've got Isaac Arthur, Linfamy, Unpacking Japan, Diary of a CEO, and Lex Friedman backed up. Some of them I think I'm just going to give up and delete. But one thing I watched that was actually really good, a lot of controversy from Eric Schmidt, former Google CEO. He talked at Stanford. He said that, you shouldn't allow remote working. And it's the job of tech companies to break the law and then pay the lawyers to fix it for them. Which got all the headlines. However, this guy I'd never seen before. He has a channel where he basically had coverage of the entire talk and gave commentary on it. And I must say that while the headline grabbing parts of the talk, which I paid attention to and thought, geez, that guy's a dick, the whole talk was actually like the most interesting talk I have like heard on AI in a long time. And actually, yeah, you know what? You don't get to be CEO of Google and national security and AI advisor and everything for being an idiot, even if that's the only parts that make the news. I must say, I was like, that was the most interesting. I watch daily AI news from different sources, and that was the most interesting talk that I have heard on the subject for a long time. Highly recommended. Ex-Google's banned interview, a bit clickbaity, but actually very interesting and very well broken down. Yeah, the Nankai quake warning is now off. It's now back to being a mere statistical certainty that it'll happen sometime, but we have no idea when. However, a lot of the Furusato Noze, a lot of the places that offer sort of tax breaks if you buy from the local governments, are now offering disaster packs. It's actually, on the one hand, of course, there was panic shopping for emergency kits, which mainly consist of things like radios, batteries, flashlights, emergency toilets, like plastic bags and a plastic box that you can mount into a temporary toilet. Having had family and just hearing the accounts of people who lost their houses in the quake in Christchurch, as well as even around Tokyo, people having problems with this toilets quickly become like the most important thing. So definitely to be taken seriously. But yeah, as well as having a stock of water, long-term sort of food that can keep for a long time, all this sort of thing. So good to see, at least. I mean, while not good that there was sort of panic shopping and everything sold out after the warning, good to see, maybe as a result of that, perhaps. Maybe it's a positive of this warning that now a lot more people have disaster kits, and a lot of places are figuring out it's actually good business to make these and sell them. So hopefully they're more available. Coming on again, just the discussion from the Eric Schmidt talk that I later saw the whole thing of. This was like a soundbite in the middle of it. Some people arguing more strongly, Elon Musk also arguing that it's immoral to have remote work. My take on remote work, I'm working in a company that I was fully remote, in a role where I could work remotely for 2 years. I didn't enjoy working by myself in this room for 2 years at all. I much more enjoy working around other people. I work in a, I do in-house legal. So I can do the work remotely. I can do Skype calls and whatever to do most of the work. But personally, I need the interaction with people. You're using your brain at times really intensely, and it not only is intellectually easier, it's also just psychologically better for me. So I prefer working in person. That said, there are a lot of people who are like caregivers of elderly parents, or they're raising young kids, or have various different sort of situations that justified where they're able to work remotely, and this enable them to be able to contribute, not equally. So I don't know. The thing about having I know that remote work is great and sometimes even necessary, and it opens the workforce up to more people and so on. So I don't believe it is actually immoral or anything like that. But for me personally, I definitely prefer it for the way that I like to work. Indeed, humans are social beings. But yeah, but social doesn't just mean your work necessarily as well. It can mean all the other things. So I'm sort of like, I try to be understanding of people who have a different situation to me. But for me personally, yeah, I don't think it should be declared universally immoral or wrong or anything like that. But yeah. Chris Broad, I just saw this today. He has announced that him and Sharla, his wife, Sharla, they've gone and bought and set up, with all that sweet YouTube money, they've gone and set up a cocktail bar in Shibuya. Pretty sweet. Open 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. most days. The bar is called Lost. It is in Shibuya. Basically, it's just behind the block where Mega Donkey is in, Don Quixote is in Shibuya. And here's a guy doing very, very well. I mean, he's always made content that was full TV quality. I am so glad to see him be successful. I would love to do like a YouTube party here sometime. I don't know if he'll allow pleb YouTubers like myself to ever show up. Maybe play a DJ set in a place like this. There are infinite bars in Tokyo where I could actually do that. And I've been thinking myself lately, it would be cool to play a live set in an actual place with actual people. It would be great to do it in a space like this, though. But man, congrats to him and Sharla, both for living the dream. I mean, damn, they are killing it. So, yes, indeed. New South Wales public servants were ordered back to office this coming week. Wow, they've been allowed to stay away this long. And most weren't too happy about it. When I was in America, I was kind of surprised. In Japan, there wasn't that much backlash to coming back to the office. In America, there was huge backlash when I spent 6 months working over there. So, yeah, it'd be very cool to do a live set at a bar, right? Did you suddenly set up? I mean, dude, you should come. We should like come up to Tokyo, and we should set up a party there. That would be, well, we're already setting up a party at Chris Broad's bar. I'm not sure he'll invite me, but I'd hope he would. I hope he remembers the little people. But yeah, no, that is awesome, and of course, congrats to him. Whoops, I'm looking at my notifications. Let's catch up. I've got 15 minutes. Gonna keep chugging on. What else have we got? We've got Ukraine. Someone on a lighthouse on one of the occupied northeast territories of Japan, basically 3 kilometers from Hokkaido, just raised the Russian flag in defiance of Japan, to which I'd point out, given that basically Ukraine's figured out that if they walk into Russia and just start taking land, no one's really going to stop them, which shows that Japan could pretty much do this anytime. So I suppose good for morale to raise a flag on there, but also, congrats to Ukraine on giving back to them a small dose of what they've been giving to everybody. I saw this this coverage that Jiji News Agency reports that Taro Aso, an old man famously, is struggling to back the winning candidate in the upcoming race. It's not clear that he's going to be backing the winner. Jiji, of course, being the word for old, a derogatory term for an old man. So my summary is that Jiji says that Jiji struggles to back a winning Jiji. By the way, yeah, Gigi, you actually have to emphasize the second one for it to be appropriately derogatory. And it's always a cute term for your grandfather, for grandpa in Japan, like a dear grandpa. Little kids is Gigi. But if you say Gigi, if you shorten, so if you say, normally you're supposed to say the first syllable long and the second syllable short. And that's a cute, adoring, my dear grandpapa. Gigi. If you say Gigi, I know it's sounding like Chinese a little bit at this point, but this is very important. You're saying, you old bastard. And the fact that the new JGC just happens to be called Gigi, with no emphasis on either one, or I guess there probably is. But yeah, anyway, which Gigi is going to win, who knows? Shubha's glad that you made it. You did not oversleep. We've got 2.5 Oyajis starting in 15 minutes, so I am racing through. Basically going through all the topics I would be talking about at length, and with massive distractions. I am just doing it on my own right now so that we can go join 2.5 Oyajis at the link in the information below right after this. Foreign Minister Kamikawa seems a sensible choice. I don't know that she's going to have more support than Sanae Takaichi, who's basically backed by the ghost of Shinzo Abe, but she's another candidate being touted. She seems very smart and reasonable and pragmatic. As foreign, it's kind of hard to come off as irrational as the foreign minister. It's your job to look normal. So we'll see what happens. NHK documentaries are very high quality, especially the war history ones. You might be surprised to hear that Japan does excellent war history documentaries. Here talking about the brutal 1944 Battle of Saipan. This is on tonight, I believe, or maybe, yeah, will air. But it looks very good. Of course, I'm doing this. I'm not going to do that. The Chechen warlord, what's his face, Kadyrov, gets a Cybertruck, mounts a gun on it, and posts videos on TikTok thanking Elon Musk and thanking him. So that's a thing that happened. I mean, Elon switched off Starlink when boats were getting close to Crimea, which is disputed territory, which is not even disputed. Russians dispute it, but they dispute the existence of Ukraine. It's Ukrainian territory that when they were trying to get back Ukrainian territory, Elon Musk switched off all the Starlink connections, and yet he allows a Cybertruck to be able to, which has firmware that I'm sure can be disabled. He allows us to drive around in Chechnya with a machine gun mounted on it, heading towards Ukraine. Again, given that unfortunately it seems to be an increasingly partisan thing to support Russia's invasion, like the fact that some people who think it's cool on the right wing to support the Russian invasion of Ukraine, anyway, he should just switch, or he should brick this car anyway. Punk Doily, this is a little meat pie, and they also do Australian, New Zealand style desserts, including the wildly disputed pavlova cake. Here they're showing about out in the suburbs. They're in Setagaya, out in the west of Tokyo. I've been there a couple of times. It is amazing. If you take your insulin shot before you go, they've got these lamingtons. These are a sort of delicacy, seems inappropriate, but they're basically like a sponge with coconut sprinkles on the top. But he's going to put cream and jam and stuff in them, and oh my god, are those pistachios? I have to get out to Setagaya. Punk Doily is amazing. It's literally a guy who just on the weekend has a little shop on the roof of his apartment building, packed into a small room, and he hand makes meat pies and these things, and yeah, he does a really, really great job. Continuing. Oh, got Project XO1. Good to have you in here. Shubha's glad that you're having a coffee again. Sorry, apologies to people in the Americas who I know are just waking up. Continuing. 2.5 Oyajis tonight. Indeed. 10 minutes. Holy crap, I've got to speed up. That should be fun. Victor and I just messaged Victor before. I'm supposed to be checking in now, but I said, no, I am going to be going on to this, to be able to do this in time. A Mexican person, again, who rented a canoe, got swept off course. Gilligan's Island, he landed in the Senkaku Islands. Lucky or unlucky him. A lot of Japanese working holiday visa kids, I say kids, 25 and under is the age of eligibility for going on working holidays to Australia. They hear that, just for being like a convenience store clerk or a waiter, you can get, in Japan, that's an 800 to 1,000 yen an hour job. In Australia, you can get easily, 3 or 4 times that sort of pay they here. And you can have a vacation in Australia and learn English and whatnot. So everyone's piling over to Australia in such numbers that they can't find the typical jobs that Japanese would have traditionally gone into. And a lot of them somehow getting there. When I did a working holiday visa myself, you had to demonstrate you had enough savings to be able to sustain yourself without working and buy an air ticket back. So I don't know exactly what's happening in Australia that these Japanese are showing up and ending up in food banks. This Australian guy in Sydney claiming that he's got 30 to 40 Japanese people showing up per week begging for food because they can't find work and they can't sustain themselves in Australia because they don't speak English. I did a bit of a thread on this saying I don't want to go all Gen X on the kids, but hell, a bit of self-reliance is probably good for them. It's not a working visa. You're supposed to have enough money to travel and support yourself and do odd jobs. A lot of people saying this is why you should never leave the safe islands of Japan without thoroughly learning or already studying English, which is exactly why so many Japanese don't travel. Is because they're afraid of going outside of the country without already being an expert in foreign languages. Going outside of the country is the best way to learn a language, and frankly, suffering a little bit as well. Helps with the grammar. So I don't know. Again, speaking all, abandoned, left at home to play video games, Gen X. I don't know. Might toughen them up. Kono Taro's Twitter account today, the lead contender for becoming prime minister, he points out that there is bread in some shops in Japan, which is made to look like watermelons, that instead of seeds has chocolate chips. Chocolate chips. Amazing Japanese technology. Make this man prime minister, I say. To which some people say, oh my God, no. This person says, God, no, might as well make Japan a US state with this American yes man in power. To which I say, yeah, but the watermelon bread has chocolate chips for seeds. Some people, they just... I get a little bit too fixated on their own problems. What can I say? Last night, I did a 2-hour DJ set that went really well. It wasn't perfect. I made some mistakes and stuff, but I put in 63 tracks of music I'd purchased in the last day or so. I bought 200 tracks, and I went through all of that. And it was really cool. There were some really fun mixes last night. So that's the thing that happened. See, Mr. Cordy Chef, Atomic Tom, they get it. There we go. What else have we got here? Going down. Last night, New Zealand beat Argentina thoroughly at rugby. That was a good thing. Jason Momoa, who is not actually a Kiwi, I don't think. But I think where is he from? He's an Aussie. He's Pacific Island heritage anyway. But it's a good New Zealand sounding name anyway. But I'll quite happily take his support for the All Blacks. That's probably why we won. Of all the shit posts that I've done this week, that's not the one. The biggest reaction to all my shitposts this week was the state of Massachusetts in America has banned the importation into that state, the registration of Japanese K cars. Now that they're hitting the 25-year thing where a lot of them are getting imported and they're kind of popular on car blogs and so on, a lot of people buying them. They are tiny, light, not very crash-proof sort of small cars that are made to be fuel efficient. And it's kind of funny, a lot of Americans came in and said, those cars are not safe. I believe those are illegal to drive even on the highway in Japan, to which they are legal to drive on the highway in Japan. They're a lot of fun. Whenever I used to go surfing, I'd take a K car. You'd rent them for a whole day for 7,000 yen, about $40. They're actually more roomy. The regulations actually specify how much room they have to have inside. And so I can fit my head in. They're very high, and they've got a lot of storage in them, so you could easily put things like a surfboard inside of them. And I'd go to the beach on a downhill run. I've got one up to 150 unofficially on the Aqualine. So they're great cars. But just the fact that, again, when you've had this ridiculous kind of arms race of everybody wanting to be in the most tank-like car on the road in America, to the point that in cities, you see these Dodge Rams and these pickup trucks driving everywhere that are literally 3 or 4 times as heavy as some of the cars, and themselves are basically just they make the whole road too dangerous for everybody else. So it's like this arms race of everybody wanting to buy the biggest, most lethal car on the road. And frankly, in Japan, people just don't drive like idiots and don't approach purchasing cars from a place of pure fear. They just buy, nice economic cars and don't drive like dickheads. And the formula works. But it's kind of funny how even with regards to Japan, the number of people who came out angrily saying that Japan should not even allow K cars to go around because they're not safe. It's like, dude, just chill out, was my reaction. I'm surprised that was the biggest reaction I got all week. If you're into space stuff, the everyday astronaut Tim Dodd did a 1.5 hour long tour, the first ever tour. Blue Origin has the next sort of big Starship type huge rocket coming out later this year. It's backed by Jeff Bezos. They're very secretive, unlike SpaceX. So, and they're coming for a lot of criticism for that. So this is like the biggest ever sort of tour and inside sort of showing the whole setup that they've got at Cape Canaveral. Space nerd guy myself, that's the ULA Centaur behind me there. I love this, and it was also a really long interview with Jeff Bezos, who doesn't give many interviews. So, he seems very up on his stuff. If you're a space nerd, I'd say this is mandatory watching. Anyway, I learned a ton about how rockets get made. Jason Momoa, that's an awesome sounding name. Yes, indeed. Drink check. We've got 5 more minutes until 2.5 Oyajis. Drink check indeed. NHK putting out animated mouse-based warnings on TV about warnings of conspiracy information, false information about voter fraud, just to make sure the election in Japan goes through. In fact, there isn't an election in Japan coming up soon, so I don't even know what this is for. But maybe other countries should have similar things. Intentional cough. Just coverage from Korean news of how anti-Japanese the mainstream left wing is in Korea, and why, honestly, when I see that, I become very depressed for the future because it just means that when the government inevitably changes in Korea again, the relations are going to go into the toilet, which I don't like. I like relations to be good. Terrible history still being terrible history, but all of that. The field for who will become the next LDP president and by extension Japanese prime minister. Can I zoom that? I can't really zoom that. Who do I think it's going to be? I have no idea because it's all decided in back rooms. That said, I think the front runners, Koizumi is very popular and allegedly good looking. But he's an idiot and he doesn't have the support, so he might as well not bother. Koji Kobayashi, I don't know anything about him, but apparently he's the first guy to come up with the 20 votes to move forward. Motegi's like a big faction head. He's sort of got a lot of heft, so he might get in there, even though he's not popular at all. But there again, it's more likely he'll throw his support behind someone and look to be an influencer. Sanai Takaichi, she's a sort of, I consider a ruling right-wing maniac. She's moderated a lot, however, and had sort of Abe's backing to be Japan's first woman prime minister. The current foreign minister here, I mentioned before, kind of moderate, kind of smart, but probably doesn't have the political. She's not really at the head of any of the big factions. The current cabinet secretary, Hayashi, I don't know anything about him, but like Suga, a lot of cabinet secretaries go on to be pretty good prime ministers, so I wouldn't be against it, but again, who knows? Oh wait, that's Kobayashi. Then who's the guy up here? Oh God, I can't even read. It's too small. Anyway, he's the up-and-coming guy. He's Charlie Brown trying to kick the football. He's come second place in like every LDP presidential election for like the last 20 years. And Charlie Brown is running towards the football again as we speak to kick. And there's Kono Taro, very popular, but I don't know that he has the numbers. So we'll see what happens with the LDP election. We should know, I believe, in the next couple of weeks who that's going to be. Oh, now I've zoomed that in too much. I've got 2 minutes. Okay, crap. Let's speed up. COVID wave. We had a COVID wave. It's going down again, but interesting to see that. Fortnite is on mobile. Less than 20% of Japanese firms say they are officially using Gen AI, but probably all of them have staff that are using Gen AI during work. It's just companies won't decide officially. It's a high threshold in Japan. Typhoon this week. It kind of missed Tokyo. It was a bit of a nothing burger, but still. What else have we got here? 7-Eleven comparisons. Eric Schmidt. I talked about that earlier. Got monkeypox, all that stuff. Here's the story about the whether K cars are death traps. I guess they are if you're driving on a highway surrounded by high-powered tanks. But there you go. What else have we got here? The Nankai quake advisory was withdrawn. LDP person resigned for corruption. That seems to happen a lot. Ride sharing. A lot of people, 80% of Japanese people don't want to use ride sharing services because they think they're kind of dodgy, and there are taxi services have a pretty good reputation in Japan. Me running, it's been super hot, but I've been sort of getting out and getting fitter again, which is good. And it's 10 o'clock. So, like, Goji Mummy, who must be protected at all costs. The summer vacation craft project is titled Grandpa Goes Shopping. The quality is excellent, as well as the actual setting. Anyway, Aaron has posted the link below. Go there. I'm going to go there myself now. I'm going to be joining Victor. 2.5 Oyajis. Thank you for joining me for a very rapid fire Tokyo tonight. I'll see you all 11 o'clock. Come back when 2.5 Oyajis is done. I'm going to come back and do a DJ set with your requests. See you soon. See you on the other side. Peace.